Thrones. He was the White Walker.
The White
He was
Walker.
like, yeah, really cool. So, anyways, kind of an interesting episode for me. We got to see the inside of Boba Fett's ship, which I thought was a really great perspective. If you didn't have the toy growing up and at least could poke around, you got to kind of see the hangout inside the ship. So, a couple cool things for me on that side. But yeah, did it push that story forward? I'm not sure. This was one of those A-team episodes. So,
Love it when a plan
Yeah.
where
comes
do we want to
together.
go? Let me go with. Let me start with Mike here for a minute. Go,
Yeah.
buddy.
So it's funny you say that because, uh, and I mentioned this the last episode, and I think or the one previous, that Carolyn has more or less just checked out of the show. Like every episode, oh, it's another quest, it's another quest, and this kind of was, a quest, but thinly veiled with some sort of plot points moving forward. I like the episode. I think Bill Burr, uh, he's been such a delight in this series.
Nice to see some layers to his character in there too. I really
Yeah,
enjoyed that.
and I mean he's just great, and I
Yeah.
and I do hope that this leads to him being part of one of those new Disney series that was announced, the
Mm-hmm.
Rangers. What is it, Rangers of the Galaxy, or
Yeah, something I have it written down somewhere. I can't remember.
I'd have
Rangers
to
of the
look it up.
Republic, maybe.
Rangers of the Republic, I think that's what it is. It'd be nice to see him, and you kind of got that sense between him and Gina Carano's character,
Cara Dune, yeah.
that there was kind of I like how he did that, blew that transport up, the Rhydonium, with that
Mm-hmm.
Tusken Raider gun. Which, come on, we all know that that's not a big deal, because I mean Luke used to shoot womp rats from his T16, right? So I had to dig that reference in somewhere.
That's awesome.
I thought the episode was great from that standpoint. Bill Burr's character, I was waiting for him to turn. I mean, I said that last week that I thought he was going to be sort of like stabbing Mando in the back, but no, this was it was a nice uh, exploration of his character. They talked about Operation Cinder,
Mm-hmm.
which if you played Battlefront 2, you're familiar with, because that was actually that was one of the missions in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So again, they're drawing on all these sort of external, sort of expanded universe ideas, bringing them into the show, which I thought was great. Richard Brake, like you said, Brent, was fantastic. My only thing that really, and maybe this is just again part of the whole old school Star Wars, when I think of the Imperial troopers, or like the Imperial commanders, they all had British accents, except for the dude that was like, your ancient religion, the guy that gets choked
Yeah.
in the beginning.
In the
They all have
boardroom.
British accents. So when you get into the officers' mess hall there, and it's all like that Southern drawl, like, hey, get over here, let's have a drink. Like, it took me out of it, and I'm like, but again, that's petty. I just remember the Imperial commanders being these very high class British officers, and it seemed a little jarring. But aside from that, my favorite moment in the entire episode, and I knew it was coming as soon as Boba Fett sort of flew in, and then you saw the
Oh, look at that.
and then all of a sudden he pushes the button, and here comes the seismic detonator.
Oh, whoom. That sounds so cool.
Which,
Except that it really echoes the point that you'd think one of these guys would write something about a TIE fighter actually being able to hit something. Like, these guys are supposed to be the best trained pilots, and it seems that every single rebel can hit anything. But the TIE fighter can never hit anything when it matters, which is kind of a funny joke within the joke. But,
well, I mean, what's the old joke? I can't live with my father; he beats me. I can't live with my mother; she beats me. Go live with a stormtrooper; they don't beat anybody. No, they don't hit anybody.
Yeah,
Sorry,
there you
I
go.
screwed the joke up.
That's all right.
But it was, I thought that was the moment for me, because I love that in the prequel trilogy. When Django's, being chased by Obi-Wan, and then In the theater, that sound was amazing. I loved that whole deal. Yeah, it was an episode with a really, I don't know, like, part of me is thinking, so now Mando's got that message sent out to Moff Gideon, like, hey, I'm coming for you, blah, blah, blah. If I'm Moff Gideon, I'm like, okay, let's just go somewhere else where he can't
That's
find
what
us now.
I was thinking.
Like, what? Like, it, minor sort of nitpicking. I liked the visual. It's kind of cool. He's like that, the child means more to me than you ever know, and blah, blah, blah. So it is setting up for this big showdown, which is going to lead into a surprise guest. I'm imagining. I think we're going to see who the child force communed with.
Which I laid out in the last episode. I've got my predictions. Chris, where do you go? Where do you think?
Yeah, Chris.
Okay, well,
Not on prediction.
Yeah, that
on the episode.
Just average episode, very average episode. I want to point out too that was the second. So there's been 2 pretty average episodes in my opinion this season. Cara Dune was in both of them. Just pointing that out, that's what happened there.
Interesting.
And I forgot, what's the character that you were talking about, Mike, that you liked? Bill. What's his name?
Oh,
Bill?
Mig Mayfeld.
Mig Mayfield. Okay.
Mayfeld or Mig.
There you go.
Mayfeld.
I thought they added some cool layers to him. I thought the same thing as you, Mike, that he was going to come in, he was going to be, sinister guy, keep twirling his mustache when nobody's looking. Ooh, watch out for this guy. And they do that. They show somebody going. And behind the scenes, and he's going to be up to no good.
He teased it too with that whole line about whatever helps you sleep at night.
Yeah, right.
Thing.
Yeah.
Like,
so
wondering
when they brought him in against the dude from the Dragons and Boob show, that he was so evil that it really helped make him. And then when he just went the high road on everything, and even higher than that, took it in his own hands and shot him. It was just like, wow, this guy's got layers. Like, what kind of a guy would do that? You know what I mean? In front of all these other Imperials. So he really took his friends dying to heart. And just to put him up against somebody so evil, man, that Imperial officer was so evil. It's like over the top. It was great.
But there were a lot of points like in the episode where, even that little sort of speech that he gives Mando as they're driving under the tunnel, where he's like, he talks about people on Mandalore, this is what they believed in. People on Alderaan. Shout out to Alderaan.
Yeah.
By the way, Alderaan, I've got my Alderaan glass. As you can see, it's broken because it's exploded.
Holy cow.
And it was neat how when they're driving past the children of, is it Morak? I think that was the planet they were on. Empire, New Republic, it doesn't matter to these people. They're just invaders.
Yeah.
So it was, again, like Bill Burr, he really, he sunk his teeth into this character. The writing was excellent. And I loved Mando, how he just, what was supposed to be a pretty pivotal thing in the episode, the fact that he took off the Beskar and put on the Stormtrooper outfit, that's a big deal. And now Mando, it seems like even he's questioning, what he believes in, or that as he grew up, part of the Mandalore, like,
but he's always Mike. He's always like about the mission.
He's about the mission.
I think in this particular case, he takes it off willingly, right?
But like Bill Burr said, he did that when it suits him, like when it suits the cause, when it it's not otherwise he'd hold it on his head all the time and nothing's going to change that. But if it suits his cause, he's willing to bend.
Sounds kind of familiar with what's going on in America right now. Just a little bit of.
Do you think there's a little bit of that Hollywood slight political undertones here?
Just a little bit of like.
Ooh. But not overbearing. So
yeah,
sorry.
They like to slide it in when they can. Another one thing that I thought with Bill Burr's character, whatever the gentleman's name is,
Mayfeld.
Mayfeld. I got to remember that. I'm terrible with names. Okay, so that all of a sudden his character, I thought, sprung way higher than Cara Dune in more interestingness. You know what I mean? It was amazing how before in the when they first I saw he was coming back, I was like, okay, cool. I was kind of hoping a couple other characters from the story, other stories might have come in. It was him, and that was cool. So I was like, all right, but Cara Dune's going to be in there. Okay, cool. But then after it was like, oh, I wanted to see more screen time for Mayfield than I did for Cara Dune. But we really don't know what happened to Cara Dune. Well, her planet got blown up, right? So she has nobody left like that. So there's Princess Leia's story. So kind of already know about that one. But to hear a little bit more about Mayfield's happenings and what happened with him, I really enjoyed that. I thought that
I would
was
have liked him
cool.
to go. I would have liked him to go with them. I just think it would have added another.
But I think
Right.
this is going to lead into this other series.
Yeah.
Maybe it is Cara Dune, Mig
Mhm.
Mayfeld, Cobb Vance. Let's bring him into the mix too. Fennec
Cat-
Shand, you've got
Cad Bane, the other bounty hunter, Cad Bane from all the
right,
other
okay.
ones, right? He's got like the cow.
So-
He's almost like a cowboy type guy.
So maybe this is again they're planting the seeds of this, next show, which
Mhm.
we'll
So
we'll
much
talk
could come
about.
out of this. It's
so much.
so much. It's really rad. So yeah. So overall, it was an average show. It's not like anything like it wasn't a bad show by any means, but it wasn't like it wasn't like we learned out the baby's name or anything like that. You know what I mean?
It was cool though with seeing the Empire side of things.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that seeing the whole behind the scenes kind of thing of that, and watch them all like high fiving each other. It really
Right.
it really humanized the Empire and the stormtroopers and stuff like that, because they're like the guy with the red shirt in Star Trek. It's like, oh yeah, he died. Like you have no hearts towards him dying, right? You know what I mean? So the same with the stormtroopers. Like, oh, stormtrooper died. No, nobody really cares.
And it's the first time that they've actually came to the rescue. And the one time that the TIE fighters got it right when they were blowing up all the aliens on their chase and they let the guys in. And I was like, hey, there we are cheering for the Empire to get these guys in, right?
Yeah,
And
that was cool.
We've only seen, in past Star Warses, the rebels celebrating. You see it on Yavin in Star
Yeah.
Wars, and then in Rise of Skywalker, you see them celebrating. You never see the stormtroopers.
No.
Yeah, woo.
Yeah, no, it's
Good
nice.
for
We
us,
even got to
guys.
see where they eat their lunch, right?
It's
we
funny.
got in there. We got
have
in
you guys
there.
ever see the SNL skit with the work? What was
Oh
it?
my
The,
God, Kylo Ren one.
Kylo Ren is
That
the
is amazing.
undercover boss.
Undercover
that
boss,
gave you a pretend view into what it might be like
great.
at the Empire's lunch.
If you're listening or watching, you must watch that SNL episode. Kylo Ren, what is it? Hidden Work or something, or
Undercover
it's
boss.
undercover boss.
Undercover
Yeah.
Boss? Kylo Ren, you got to watch that if you're watching at home or listening.
Because the other side of
Man.
it too is like they're the Empire have a reputation of not being very happy.
Right.
So when you see guys laughing, I'm like, the Empire, they don't laugh. The guys come through and they're all, as you said, they're high fiving like
Yeah.
as they come out. And
Totally
and it was
humanized
funny because Bill had his helmet off,
Yeah.
so there was a little bit of like, okay, he's just he's a regular dude. He's got his helmet off. He's walking through the crowd. No one else did, really him. But they're all kind of happy, and I'm like, I'm not used to seeing the Empire happy at all. There's not one moment, as Mike said, where you're like, look at them. They're all playing volleyball.
Is this a Robot Chicken sketch? What's going on here?
Yeah, what's going on? So it was kind of an
That would have been
interesting-
hilarious to see them cut away to like a Top Gun-esque
Totally.
volleyball match with stormtroopers and jeans and no shirts.
Larry the
I did
Trooper.
like Boba Fett's line about not going in. It's like if they saw my face, they'd probably recognize me.
That is good.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
That's good.
Yeah, and I, normally with these, as I said, with these second last episodes of a season, you usually get a little bit more than we got here. This was just seemed like more of like a third episode than it would be the second last episode of a season. So I'm hoping that they're going to jam this last episode. Just like, and I don't know what the running time, Mike, normally you have this. I don't know what the running time for the new episode is.
I
but
don't have that, no. But I
Anyways.
mean, equate it to, if we're talking wrestling terms, you think about the main event of WrestleMania. What's the match before the main event? It's always the sort of like throwaway crowd. You don't want to steal the thunder from the main event. So I think this episode was that. One other cute little sort of line that was thrown in. I liked Bill Burr's throwaway line of TPS reports.
Oh,
Shout
I
out to
loved it.
Office Space.
I loved it. I thought it was a great,
I didn't catch that. That's a
TPS
good
reports.
one.
I did.
Did
It
you
was
guys
great,
catch?
yeah.
Apparently, there was
Yeah.
also an Easter egg in the credits. The where they show the art, the art drawings.
Storyboardings, yeah.
Yeah, and apparently there was a one of the drawings of them on that skiff when they're chasing the transport, and it's Oscar Isaac is helming the ship. So Poe Dameron.
Mhm.
A nice little sort of like nod to that part of the Star
Yeah,
Wars
it's funny.
universe. So yeah,
Who
so
coincidentally
go
he's
back
going to
and
be
watch
in
that.
something. But anyways, okay, Lonnie,
Okay.
our friend Lonnie, it is time to queue up our regular segment every week of
Man,
this
is the way.
wow,
This is the way. This is the way.
awesome.
This is
it's
the
like
way.
it's Sheldon, right? It's like this is the way. Has to say it 3
Yeah.
times.
This is the dropping of knowledge because
This is the
Chris, you
dropping
come
of
up with stuff
knowledge.
that I'm unaware of.
Cool.
All right.
Cool. That's I don't like. See, I could, as I mentioned before, I was when mentioning to Todd Dank Ferrick Kearns. That I could go on for like hours about this stuff, so it's hard for me to condense it. But I want people to understand. So I'm going to combine a little bit of knowledge with what I think is going to happen in the future. Here, I'm going to do what's happening and prediction. So they have made. So I mentioned before about Jango Fett was one of the leaders of the Mandalores of the planet Mandalore, the Mandalorians at one point. Now this was in Legends. Now they've made that canon. So he because Boba Fett said that he's the rightful owner of the armor because of that. So we've got Jango Fett now being the original leader. We've got Boba Fett back with his armor. I'm thinking he might be the next chosen one to lead the group. He is older. He gives his ship to Mando, and him and the little one. I can't see the little one leaving Mando. But anyway, my first point, sorry about the knowledge, is that it turns out that Jango is in canon one of the former leaders. So he is one of the rightful leaders. So the rightful throne should be given to Boba Fett. So I think we're going to see a really cool interaction between Boba Fett and all the other Mandalorians that I don't know how many more they have other than the ones that we saw with Bo-Katan. And he'll have a meeting with them, and I think they're all going to be kind of in awe with him, finding out who he is, that he is the son of Jango Fett. And we're probably going to get this great big Mandalorian-like moment where they're all like, oh my God, it's Boba Fett. Kind of like we were when we first saw, oh my God, it's Boba Fett, it's Boba Fett. So I think when they find out that he's a Fett, they're going to be pretty stoked by that. And that would be a really cool spin-off, too, if they did the whole Mandalorian thing and they brought Boba Fett in. He wasn't really in the action all the time, but he's back on the throne in Mandalore, kind of making the business decisions. So what a good way to use him, I was thinking, right? Because, Mike, we were discussing that his dad body and stuff like that, and I don't know.
He cleaned up his armor pretty nicely.
He did, didn't he?
Episode and the last.
He did.
But he needs to get the onesie underneath because the dad bathrobe covered by the Mando armor. It's just not a good look for him.
So if he was just sitting on a throne somewhere running the planet, you know what I mean? Then I could see that would be a pretty good role for him because there's a lot of thoughts about one of them dying. You can't have the two stars going on. So that was my thought. I just can't see them killing off Boba Fett, especially after retconning him with such a bad death. You know what I mean? Just bring him back from the Sarlacc pit to kill him again. Although that would be impactful. That'd be some pretty heavy storytelling. Now, on the other hand, again, I'm still pushing my 2.5 Men kind of plot line where him and Mando jump in with the little baby and they just go around the universe and hilarity ensues, right? Like maybe
it's a sitcom,
right? Yeah, and they're finding more younglings on the way to keep it cute because well, actually, Grogu's going to be tiny forever, so man, there you got that. But then if you find a baby Wookiee, add him in there, and then wow, what a show that would be. That would be amazing. But so I think we're going to have a huge battle next. Like there's no way around this massive battle we're going to have. This is like you guys were saying, the end game. Here comes our end game, right? We're going to be seeing everybody come in, and I don't know if we're going to get to that whole thing that I mentioned about Boba Fett in one episode because there's a lot of stuff we got to clean up. And again, who is going to meet Grogu? I'm almost thinking that maybe we won't find out. I'm not like there's so much info to give out there. What a cliffhanger it would be if they didn't let us know. It would be a lot of people shaking their fist, but if they give us some other, if they tie up some other loose ends satisfyingly, if everybody says, "Oh my gosh," so say they do that thing with Boba Fett, and then everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, Boba Fett's a new leader of Mandalore. Here's our spinoff here," and then Ahsoka comes back and they show, "Oh gosh, here comes her spinoff," and what's going to go on with Mando, and the other Jedi just shows up and it ends. Something like that, I think people would accept. But if you don't get anything tied up, we're gonna have some people that are pretty pissed off out there, right? So they'll have to tie something up. So there's those 3 things that I mentioned they could tie up. As far as who's gonna find if somebody did come to Grogu, I still don't think it's gonna be Luke. There is the Jedi from the game that I'm playing now.
I was gonna say Cal.
Yes, Cal Kestis. Is that his name?
Cal Kestis. Cal
So-
Kestis.
Cal Kestis, buddy. That's it. And what a prominent actor. The character in the video game looks exactly like him. It's his voice. What a way to use him. It's almost like they were planning that. And that, like as I mentioned, he's a pretty prominent actor. He did a really good job on Gotham. My problem with him is I keep seeing that Jerome guy from Gotham in there because I watched the hell out of those Gotham episodes. Did any of you guys watch Gotham?
Yeah.
Started to and then got off.
Okay, well, he was basically like the Joker there, and he played it really well. His name was Jerome. That's a whole other story I could go into, but
Who's the actor that played Cal Kestis in the game?
I can't remember his name, but he was Jerome on Gotham.
Larry Fine. Go ahead.
I'll look that up. While you
He's
kids
in
talk
another.
amongst yourselves.
He's in another prominent show right now as well, that my wife watches. What's Shameless? He's in the show called Shameless right now.
Oh, Cameron Monaghan.
There,
okay,
yeah, that's
sorry.
Cameron
All right.
Monaghan. So I could see him definitely jumping in. And what a way to tie the video games in. I'm also kind of, I'd be on board for a Force Ghost coming in as well, too. Like, can you imagine Yoda popping in and a Force Ghost? Like, I don't know, man.
I'm with Brent. If it's going to be a Force Ghost, Mace Windu.
Oh, I would love to see Mace Windu come back.
like,
'Cause he's one of my favorite actors, as I mentioned earlier on, right? Like, anything Mace Windu's in, or anything that Samuel Jackson's in is okay by me. I'm going to tell you that. So, but if he came back, that'd be great.
Problem is, though, he's got his own show that he's going to have to worry about on the Marvel side of things, according to the Disney launch.
Oh,
so,
Shield, right? Nick Fury,
yeah.
right?
So him and the Skrull from Captain Marvel. I forget the guy who played Krennic in Rogue One,
the funny guy.
which I would have, talking about, the potential spin-offs. I thought I didn't realize Cameron Monaghan was the actor, because I would have said if you want to hop on another actor that would fill maybe the role of Ezra Bridgelighter. Is that his name?
Yeah, Ezra Bridger. Yeah,
Bridger. Okay,
he'll be in there for sure.
Timothy Chalamet, who was on Saturday Night Live this past weekend, I could see him playing the role of Ezra.
What else would I know him from?
Well,
he was
Hot Summer Nights.
He's done a few like
that. Yeah, that campy show with all the.
No, that's Wet
He's
Hot
got an
American
interesting
Summer.
look.
Oh,
I
that
noticed
is-
it on
that's it, dude.
SNL.
That's it.
I noticed it on SNL this weekend. He kind of like when they close up on him and they did a few other things. I was like, I see what they're doing. He's kind of got this like Ryan Gosling kind of mixed with something else.
With what's his face? He played Green Goblin. I can't remember his name. He's got the brother. Franco. Yeah, he's got the Franco thing going there.
Maybe without all the sexual harassment.
Well, maybe.
Hopefully, without all the sexual harassment.
Well, you want to talk political? I mean, Gina Carano, who plays Cara Dune.
Oh my
she's
gosh.
She's got a lot of heat on the internet for her political sort of twitterings.
So if
and
anybody
such,
doesn't know, she does not want the vaccine for COVID, and she thinks that Donald Trump got ripped off.
Yeah, it's
Maybe that's
interesting.
why she's been written out of the
Well,
show.
yeah, I was gonna say her episodes have been very interesting. Is she gonna get killed
I don't know.
off?
She still looks to be the lead for this Rangers of the Republic, spinoff. So who knows?
The world is, there's still 50 out of 100 people that are going to watch that show.
Yeah, but if we're gonna sort of quickly jump into that, are we gonna jump into that whole spinoff? Or do we...
political on this show at all?
No, not political. No, I'm talking about spin-off stuff.
Eventually, we're going to get there. But that was
okay.
is Chris done? Was that the way, Chris?
That was the way.
That was a good way.
Thank you. The Jango Fett is huge, dude.
That
The
was the way.
rightful heir to the dark saber and to the throne is Boba
Now, this
Fett.
is
And
why,
what a great
Chris, I think-
what a great way to bring him out.
This is why I think we are going to get the reveal. It's called Disney Plus subscriptions. So this is because, given the notice of what's been going on, I wouldn't be surprised if immediately following the episode and all the rest of it, we get some kind of announcement that there's a show dropping in 2 weeks of some capacity, not tied to, I don't know. That's a little trick that I always want these guys to do, which is like, oh, we've already filmed all this. We didn't tell you.
Yeah.
So I want to, but from the
tough,
straight Disney Plus subscription side, the average person watching this show is not as far in as either one of you 2. So, the average person knows, Boba Fett, maybe, through pop culture, and they know whatever. So to me, just strictly from they've gone inside a lot on this to really satisfy us from an internal, but they still need to satisfy the average person. And to me, to your point, as far as the guy from the video game, I think it's going to be too far. I think the Force Ghost is going to have to be somebody that they can tweet about. So I know they're not built this way. I'm just saying it makes sense to me that the reveal will be somebody that we are all extremely familiar with. And so that could be a whole bunch of different things. But I definitely do, Chris, think we are going to get the answer to that.
You think so? Okay, cool.
And I do.
We don't have long to wait, which is the best part, right?
Yeah, and I do think that we are going to get some. I think that Grogu is going to stay with Mando. Yeah. But then I think there's a whole potential of just anarchy amongst the rest of it. So you're going to get those 2, and then you're going to get the reveal, and then at this point, Moff Gideon up in the air. There's a whole bunch of different areas where they can take it.
I'd hate for him to get written off the show because Giancarlo Esposito he's brilliant, and I don't think he's been given a real big chance yet to be the baddie that he potentially
especially if he
can
survives some kind of attack. They get away with the black saber, and then the last shot is a combination of the reveal and then him coming back after them or something. And then
but that's kind of how they left last season, where he sort of gets out of the fallen TIE fighter and flashes the dark
TV
saber.
likes to repeat things.
No
Mike,
kidding.
Where do you think we're going?
I think we're going to get some stuff tied up. I still say Boba Fett's going to die.
Yeah.
Or somebody's going to die. Because if this in any way follows the original Star Wars formula, A New Hope, yay! Empire Strikes Back, oh. Return of the Jedi, yay! So this being the second season, second act, somebody's gonna die. That's my call. Somebody's gonna die. We may get a reveal of who Grogu was communing with. If because Filoni's got his hand in this so heavily, it really makes me think that they're going to follow the Clone Wars and Rebels. So it might be Ezra because is revealed, because at least if it's Ezra, you do have the people that grew up on Clone Wars and Rebels. Again, they're being brought in. If you go with Cal Kestis from Jedi Fallen Order, I don't think the game was as much of a success. To Brent's point, I don't think you get the mainstream appeal. It makes complete sense. Like it's a great, if you've played the game, sort of nuts and bolts. The story is Cal Kestis was one of the younglings who he would post Order 66. He hid out, tried to avoid being found, and so he's now searching the galaxy for new force sensitive people, humans, things, whatever. So it would make sense in that area, but again, it's too niche, too fine. It's got to be a big name. Sam Jackson makes sense, but
that'd be great.
But
I'd support that 100%.
I don't know. But then again, we're getting Hayden Christensen back for the new
so
Obi-Wan
excited
series.
for that.
So all bets are off here. It could be Luke Skywalker. Who knows?
With that segue though about Hayden Christensen, why don't we go to our news here and talk about all the news that is to be news that can fit in the news inside of news. Let's do some news.
We got to do some news after we do That's My Wookiee, Chris.
Oh, I almost forgot. I got to test
we
your
forgot
brain.
the trivia game. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here, but
That's my Wookiee.
We got to go. That's my Wookiee. So if our friend Lonnie on the ones and twos,
There
as
they are. I
say,
love that. Wow, I just heard it.
Goes. That's my Wookiee. Here we go.
You just okay? You guys ready?
Okay.
Oh yeah. Wait. So you got to pick it. I'm forgetting how the game was played. It's my game. All right. Sorry, folks. So here's what we got. Pick 1 to 4 questions. I'm just gonna If you pick an easy one, hey, good job. Who goes first?
Brent, I believe it's you.
Okay,
I went first last week.
Okay, so
you, Mike.
Oh, did you?
just,
Okay.
just a little. These are all from the very first section of Return of the Jedi. Okay?
Oh, well, I'll take number 3.
Number 3, my friend. What job was R2-D2 given at Jabba's palace?
Oh, he'll make a fine servant on Jabba's ship.
Yeah, on Jabba's skiff. Yes, you got it.
If was it the Kitana or whatever? Was it the
Yeah, I think so.
Kitana?
It was called the Leia Bikini, I think.
The Leia Bikini ship that floated over the sand.
I think that's what they named it on the back of it. I'll have to watch Spaceballs.
Nice. It's on Bumper Stumpers. Okay,
That's
you got
right.
it, Mike. Good job, buddy. Good job.
Ding,
You got
ding,
it.
Ding.
Okay, Brent.
Let's go with number 4.
Okay. Who goes undercover as a skiff guard in Jabba's court?
Oh, in Jabba's court, it was Lando
Yeah, ding, ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding.
that's right.
with the early Predator look.
You did it.
Yes.
You did it. Okay, good job. So, Mike, we got 1 or 2.
I'll take 1.
What color is Luke Skywalker's lightsaber?
That would be green.
Boom! You got it. Good job, buddy. You're 2 for 2. Ding, ding.
Which he
ding.
built in a deleted scene at the beginning of Return of the Jedi, which they opted not to show. But
Shameful.
I think it's So anyway,
All
nerd.
right. That's all right, dude. No, that's actually a cool thing to know on our show. There's nothing like no.
That's right.
That makes you awesome here. Okay, so Brent, you got the last one.
Mm-hmm.
What character is first to speak?
The first to speak would have been C-3PO.
Nope. I thought I was thinking that too, and I'm glad I went back and watched it. Mike, do you know?
God damn it.
I believe it's it's the Admiral, but I can't remember. Lord Vader.
We open up, but they're walking in the desert.
Imperial soldier. It's like an Imperial
soldier.
It's just
Imperial
two. Yeah, just two Imperial guys driving the ship. It's nobody really important. It was kind of a trick question.
Sorry, that's right.
But
yeah.
so that was the
you're
tough
talking
one.
Out of the scroll into it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
it's where
very
they're
first
flying
characer
in.
that speaks, buddy. Yep. And it's sorry, that was kind of a trick one because it's just some Imperial dude. I would have took
dirty.
like Imperial guy, Imperial
You're
soldier.
gonna need to have 10 questions.
You got to admit though, the other
Next
3 were
week.
pretty straightforward, right? Like
Next week, you're going to have 10 questions because that's the only way I think I can catch Mike now. I think we're down to, I think Todd stole one last week. I was even, I think even
Dang,
Alex
fair.
got in on it. I think we're at like a 7-5 or 8-5 or something now.
yeah, we'll have a sudden death next week.
Anyways, that,
And
my
I'll
friends,
do
has
it'll be on
been
the Mando.
weekly Mandalorian roundup.
There it is. Woo!
The Dean Blundell Network has deemed it Mandalorian Monday.
Yes, Dean likes it.
So
I like
there we
that.
go. Very
It's
cool.
the
Thanks to them
meltdown
for-
though, right? It's the what is it?
That's it's the Mandalorian.
And I
meltdown,
do
yeah.
have to say, and I mentioned this on social media. I loved your artwork, Chris.
Oh,
That
thanks,
was
buddy.
So cool.
You
I've never
deserve
been.
a cartoon.
I've only been immortalized one other time in animated form of me, and that was my buddy Adam there, who drew a caricature of my wrestling alias Mike Flash.
Oh, that's awesome.
Back in college. So that is now I've got Mando Monday's Mike, courtesy of Machete. So that's
buddy.
pretty sweet, man.
And just a little heads up, I've got the original of that done up a little more like the ones that I did for
Sweet.
Todd and Brent there. So I'm going to send that off to you when I get it all finished.
Sweet.
I'll show it to you next week
Digging
online.
That's awesome.
Did he win
Yeah.
a prize? Did Mike win a prize?
Yeah.
Won a prize. Ding ding. Hey, you won a prize for being
I
on
have
a
to look
ship.
under my seat. Do I?
That's
right.
Hey, it's a beer.
You get shit and you get shit. All right, boys. So we're gonna move this over to just the facts, Jack. I don't know if we have a thing there. I don't think we found a soundboard. I'm
No,
trying
we
to
don't.
find John Lovitz. I'm trying to find John Lovitz going. Just the facts. It's got to be somewhere there. This is the news of the week, and there is lots to get to.
Boom.
Anybody, and we haven't even gotten into wrestling world or anything like that. But the immediate news of the week is, of course, the Disney investors' call as far as our world goes and what's been going on. So definitely lots to talk about in that regard. I'm just going to run down a couple of the biggest announcements when it comes to the Star Wars side. You guys can dive into the other side, but we're going to get an Ahsoka series. We're going to get obviously we've known all along about Obi-Wan. There's a lot of fake trailers out there right now, but the fans are making some pretty rad trailers. of that. But Ahsoka series, Obi-Wan, there's a Lando series called The Acolyte. There's a Rogue Squadron series. There's like, all in the queue. I don't know when they're going to get around to filming them.
Yeah,
I know
some
the
of them
Mando,
are pretty far off, but
yeah,
some of
and
them
I
are
know the
sooner than later.
Mandalorian is the next season doesn't come till December, so that's a lot of stuff that's like a year from now before we're going to get that. But that's there's some big ones there. I mean, the Twitter from that day was just going
Yeah,
crazy.
that was a big
Um,
internet day for us friends of
for a
Marvel.
big internet and stuff like that. So that's on that side of it. Those four big things. I think the Ahsoka series is a great. They're going to dive into some great stuff. I'm personally most excited about the Obi-Wan series. I
And
think
as we were saying, Hayden Christensen coming back, I am all
Hayden
for that.
Christensen, coming back, and from what I'm seeing, there's a lot of interaction between the two of them, and I think it's going to be really, really great. I
Super
love
stoked for
Ewan
that.
McGregor as Obi-Wan, so I'm anything more that we can get from him on that side. I know that they're talking about him going back, and there's a Qui-Gon thing in there. I'm not as anxious to see Liam Neeson, but I'm fine with it if he comes
Well,
if he
it would be
comes
nice.
in. But
It would be nice to actually physically see what Yoda had said at the end of Revenge of the Sith,
Mhm.
how he had communed with Qui-Gon, and
mhm.
he discovered a way to communicate, from beyond. So it actually would be cool to introduce where the Force Ghost came from, and
Mhm.
Totally.
sounds like
Yeah, I think
Qui-Gon
that's
is
gonna
the
be-
first.
I
Yeah,
think
it
that's
sounds
gonna
like
be
that's what's
cool.
going to
So,
happen, huh?
anyways, gentlemen, thoughts on those first couple of things?
My God, like Disney. I mean, we talked about this way back when we started this podcast, that Disney is all about content, and they realized that if they were going to compete against Netflix, um, you know, Amazon Prime Video, and all these other offshoots, they needed content that they could control, uh, and B that would draw eyes on the prize and on the product. Uh, they did it with the Marvel series. They crushed it there. I think what we're seeing with Star Wars is kind of the same formula. um, you've got the classics. Now let's build on some of those expanded characters that people have grown to know and love, and bang out these 8 episode seasons at a fraction of the cost of making a Marvel movie, and get as much bang from the subscriber buck as you can. Uh, they are ridiculously ambitious. I don't know how many of these are actually going to, make it past the trailers that we see, or
Mhm.
even make it past a season. The Ahsoka show, absolutely, I think that's got some potential. Again, you're bringing along the people that watched Clone Wars and Rebels, so you've got a built-in audience there. We're seeing it now with a lot of these shows that Disney had back in the day that are making comebacks. iCarly is making a comeback.
Oh my gosh, my daughter used to watch
So,
that a little bit.
and again, all the kids that grew up with iCarly, you're hoping are now going to watch this. Kind of like how Punky Brewster and Saved by the Bell are, now all of a sudden comebacks.
Mhm.
I think you're going to see that with the Ahsoka show. Rangers of the Republic could go either way. You've got the animated Clone Trooper series,
Bad Batch.
Bad Batch, which again looks interesting. Not my cup of tea, but then again, I wasn't really big on the whole Rebels Clone War stuff.
It should be easy to do though, right? Like opposed to having like actors, like anything animation, like that What If cartoon for Marvel. That should be easy, especially right now. I don't know how it's going to be, I guess, with COVID, but
I think Obi-Wan will probably be
I'm
their
so
next
stoked for that.
their next big show.
Yeah. He's my
A
favorite.
lot of expectations
of
from
Star
this,
Wars.
though. Like a lot of expectations.
Mhm.
And I think this one's actually even more so than Mandalorian is going to be scrutinized by the hardcore fans, because it's Obi-Wan, it's Darth Vader, it's what happens between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope,
Mhm.
and baby Luke on
Mhm.
Tatooine.
Damn.
And so there's a lot of potential there.
Stoked.
I'm excited for that when it goes into production. I think just in the new year.
Yeah, and chances of seeing
So-
Darth Maul in that as well, right? Because he hunts down Obi-Wan, man. He hates Obi-Wan,
Yeah.
and he actually kills Obi-Wan has a girlfriend, and Darth Maul actually kills her in canon in one of the Clone Wars. So
I'll be curious to see how much of Darth Vader's face, like how much of Hayden Christensen we're going to see with the
Yeah.
mask off. whether or not we do.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, I want to say that Return of the Jedi. Remember when Darth dies and Luke pulls off the helmet? He's like,
Mhm.
he's like, let me look onto you with my own eyes. It's like, but you'll die.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna see a lot of his helmet off
Mhm.
if it's supposed to. But
There's
anyway,
been too
I'm
much
sure
helmets, too many helmets coming off.
they
Dark
can retcon
helmet.
all this
Let's
stuff.
go back the other way, Chris. Thoughts?
Well, I pretty much was in there with that. Yeah, Obi-Wan. Looking forward for Obi-Wan. Some of them are pretty far off, right? So you're going to have actors that can't do some of these things. Some of the producers are going to bail. Something's going to happen. An actor's going to tweet the wrong thing, and they're not going to be allowed to do the movie. I don't know. That's I'm looking for, as I said, Obi-Wan. I'm all about Obi-Wan, man. I'd like to see some Darth Maul action in there, which is very possible.
Yeah.
Some young Luke action in there. Obviously, we're going to see stuff about Force ghosts. I'm really looking forward to that. And then you throw Hayden Christensen on top, who I got to throw in. Lived 20 minutes away from me when I was living in Port Perry. When I was running my music school at its height, I used to have like 150 kids.
In Uxbridge or something, didn't he?
Yeah,
Wasn't
he had a farm in Uxbridge, and I was in Port Perry with my music school. And my students, I had a handful of them that were from Uxbridge. Oh, yeah, I saw Darth Vader. I saw Darth Vader. And I was like, really? Did you say he was a really nice guy? I went up, said hi to him, blah blah blah. And I was like, that's awesome, dude. That's great. Like, what? So apparently, as
Did
legend,
not know that.
and yeah, he owned a farm there, so they would see him at I taught some kids that lived on farms and stuff like that, and they would go to this feed store, and Hayden Christensen was a regular there because he had a little farm, and that's what he did. So an Uxbridge there, yeah. So, but from as it goes, from my students, he was a really rad guy. He was really polite. And I love that. You know what I mean? And kids will tell you, oh, he's a dick, man. You know what I mean? Like, he tried to force choke me. Like, what a unit, No, but they were always like, oh no, he's a really nice guy. And all of them said, yeah, I said hi to him. I said hi to him.
We got a friend that was in a movie with him too. Joe was in Virgin Suicides with him.
Right.
He was a good guy. So
back before he was famous.
I just quickly, I just wanted to get your thoughts on this. I mean, with all these shows that Marvel or that Disney's doing now with the Star Wars, do you think we're starting to see I don't want to say the death of the blockbuster film? Because these shows are really starting to become 8-episode blockbusters.
Yeah.
Is there that much of a
the movie business is done.
Yeah.
Okay, so the movie business, as we know, is really that's a
this is a beyond the news of the week.
But that's a really good topic.
Post Mando.
It'd be nice to get somebody in who's in the know about that kind of thing, or even somebody who like owns a theater or something or whatever, like because get some input on that.
I've got some theater people, but they're really okay. So what is basically gone in my opinion is what you can do right now is you can pay $12.99 a month and get whatever you want. You can get these mini movies, as you said, Mike. Now what's happening is you'll have a premiere at home for $30 to see something, whatever. But who is going to pay $15 for one movie now to go when you got all this access? Which is why the debate between HBO Max releasing everything from Warner Brothers,
right,
is kind of like in this kind of weird zone because
and Legendary Films is pretty upset about that too.
Well, Mark Cuban was ahead of this a long time ago when he said, "Listen, there's going to be a point where I'm going to start a company where all my stuff comes out on every platform at once," and people are like, "You're absolutely out of your mind." But that's just the way it is because the movie theater experience, and I know, Mike, I know you're tied to it, but I think what's going to happen is they're going to still exist, but you're going to get, I think, like a theater is now going to really only show the big thing. Remember back in the days, it was like they were only showing really two things, 25, 30 things now. It's like, well,
that's a good point.
Sometimes you go because you're like, well, we'll just go and watch that, where you can just watch it at home now. Yeah. And whereas like, but I want to see the new Top Gun in IMAX. There's no doubt about it. I watched Ford versus Ferrari with my little guy last night, and it was great. And I'm like, man, that would have been amazing in IMAX. So there absolutely is going to be pressure on the people to make more movies and maybe make it more of an experience, which is what really, in essence, what happened out of Jaws, where people were like, well, we got to give people the movie experience now, which is why we came through this incredible time of blockbusters and madness. But now everyone's making a blockbuster. Almost everyone's got access to amazing CGI to take anything and turn it into something. And people now are impatient about it. And And I just think that to your point, Mike. I think that this system is what it's going to be, and that there's a classic line in Moneyball. It's called "Adapt or Die," and unfortunately, everyone's going to have to start adapting to it.
Well, with the price of big screen TVs now being way more accessible than they
Wow.
were 5-10 years ago, you can get a pretty decent at home experience. But
Oh,
like
yeah.
you said, Brent, if I enjoyed going during COVID when movie theaters opened again, the 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back.
Nice.
So I took my son and his buddy to the movies because I've seen the movie hundreds of times.
Mhm.
You know, I've had it on every platform except for Laserdisc, and even then I had like a DVD rip of the Laserdisc just so I had that version of it. It's to see a movie like that, big screen, big sound. I mean, that's starting to sound like a Cineplex cell line.
There you go.
Big screen, big sound. Uh, there's nothing like that for a movie like that. Will I go see, the next Adam Sandler film in the theater? Probably not, only because there's, to your point, Brent, no longer a need to, I've seen this. Yeah, let's just go see that. No, I can just flick on Netflix and, it's part of my $13.99 a month subscription. If it sucks, so what? I've still got 10 seasons of Friends I can watch.
I've got a great quote for you from a great article that happened this week. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Bob Lafsetz. So he's somewhat controversial, but he wrote a great piece this week on why HBO is dying. All right. I'm just going to read this to you, and you guys can decipher. Not only do people not want to go to the movie theater, they don't want to pay for streaming an individual film on a flat screen. That ship has sailed. It would have worked 5 years ago, certainly 10, but the movie industry waited too long. Now customers are already paying for streaming services, and they don't want to pay the equivalent of a monthly fee just to watch one movie. Films must be baked into a service, and not everybody is willing to pay for every service. No way. So it's a race to see who survives, and not all of them will. It's not cable TV where the provider pays up to small audience channels to keep them alive. In streaming, people pay directly. They either want your product or they don't. So for me, it's like it's a real take on where it's going, sadly.
And Disney with the investor call this week has done just that. They are going all in with not only the Star Wars properties, the Marvel stuff. Like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Like even the trailers, the Loki trailer was out of this world.
Yeah.
Falcon and the Snowman, WandaVision, one of the shows that I wasn't really sort of big on, but after seeing the trailer, I'm like, damn, this could work.
Yeah.
And Chris, you were
Well, that's a good segue. That's a good segue. So let's go over to the Marvel side of things. And again, there's a few things on there that are not going to happen for a long time. Black Widow movie, man, that was filmed. I remember I did a Dean Blundell segment on that. Like, I think it was one of the first ones I did.
I was still lying in bed recuperating.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like it was when you had COVID. As I say, you had COVID when COVID was cool, man. Back when
I
it was
didn't have COVID.
back when it was called Corona. If you didn't have it when it was called Corona, it was not cool. Anyway, sorry. That's our personal joke between each other there. So, yeah. So the new Marvel stuff's coming out, and that's great. So there's lots of it coming out. Black Widow movie's coming out. That'll be great. I already did a review on that one, so we all know Black Widow's coming out. We all know her character. The one that I want to really talk about that is going to be a hidden gem is the WandaVision. Now, this is the official beginning of Phase 4 for Marvel. So this is super, like, this is a big, big step for Marvel. Now, just to overlook everything, excuse me, this is going to lead into Doctor Strange and the multiverse. Multiverse with Doctor Strange is going to revolve into Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse, okay? So, first of all, anybody who misses this after they see Doctor Strange or Spider-Man is going to go back and watch this again. I guarantee you. So watch it now while you can. Now, the two characters in it, we have the Scarlet Witch and we have Vision. Now, we all know these characters from the Avengers and such. Scarlet Witch has a brother, Quicksilver, and just the Quicksilver in the Avengers movies was more like the one from the comic books, and he was just a lame, like, sorry, I found that character was so bad, right? But that's how he was in the comic books. He was arrogant, and he was just kind of like, you really want to smack him. The Quicksilver character in the X-Men movies was fantastic. Oh,
Yeah.
have you guys seen that? And the music they put to it all the time when he puts his headphones on.
If I could save time, in a bottle.
Dude, brilliant, right? I love it when they get it like that with the song. It's so great. So if I was gonna pick a brother, I would say that would be it. But I guess Pietro's already dead in their universe. Now that's the problem. Scarlet Witch here, she's super popular. I don't want to get too ahead of myself here. I'm just gonna show you one thing. Here's a nice. There's an oldie right there. Vision and Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, I think that's from like 81 or 82 or something there. Okay, so there.
And talk about the casting too. Look at Scarlet Witch drawn there.
Mhm.
That's pretty good.
Well, they both don those outfits for a Halloween episode. It looks like, right?
Oh, okay.
So here's the thing with the Scarlet Witch. So she originally appeared in 1964. Like, these characters, some people don't understand how old these characters are. Created in 1964 by two of my favorite people in the universe, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. If you don't know who either of those are, wow, I don't know what to tell you right now. I could understand if you didn't.
Wouldn't be listening to this if they did.
Yeah, I'm just saying, right? Just saying. So, but Jack Kirby, I could understand if you didn't know too much about Jack Kirby, but he is as responsible for a lot of these characters as Stan Lee is. He just wasn't as outspoken about everything. He was just the dude who stayed home and drew all the time. And he didn't speak as elegantly as Stan did. He didn't have the charisma that Stan had. Excelsior, he didn't have that. But he had all the talent in the world.
Was he a tracer?
Yeah, no, he didn't do any inking, my friend. No, he's not an inker.
He's Banky? Not Banky?
He was not Banky. He didn't do that. He was just the penciler, basically. Lots of great stuff. So they created Scarlet Witch. So right there, they're created by icons, right? Spider-Man wasn't created by Jack Kirby. So anyway, and she's also one of the very first mutants. Okay. So why is that important? Because we all love mutants. The X-Men are mutants. Wolverine is a mutant. Deadpool is a mutant. And Marvel has been trying to bring mutants into their universe for so long. So not only is this... Oh, wait. So also... Sorry, there's so many little points about Scarlet Witch I'm missing here, right? She is a mutant. She was one of the very first mutants ever. She came in as a villain. She came in the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants with her brother. Now, of course, they retcon things here and there in the comic book world and go back to other ones when people forget about the ones that are lame. Her dad, and Quicksilver's dad, is Magneto, one of the greatest villains ever. Oh my! That intro scene to X-Men 1 in the concentration camp is beautiful. That is some cinema, my friend. That is some comic book cinema. Anybody who says that comic book movies are all just gunk and funny and muscles and flexing, man, watch that. That is iconically. That explains
one
Magneto.
Of the first ones
man.
That they tried to take a bit of a serious.
Oh man! And then later on, Magneto has his daughter and his wife taken away from him, and he's trying to be such a good guy. I love Magneto. He's your pristine example of a comic book character with levels. I always like to say the villains with the twisting their mustaches, right? Okay, well that's it. That's all it is, right? And sometimes those are fun. Like on a Die Hard movie or something, right? You got it's great. But in this instance, there's another one where High Evolutionary has an experiment on Scarlet Witch, turns her into the witch. Let's say they're not going to go with that one because that was really lame. Magneto being the father, and they did allude to it in the X-Men movies with Quicksilver. Quicksilver was in the elevator with Magneto, and it's a really, really great scene because those are amazing two actors. I would love to. What's the gentleman that plays Magneto? Fassbender?
Fassbender. Michael Fassbender.
Wow. Love that guy as well. Great actor. Would love to see him continue on.
It's still like Ian
Magneto.
McKellen. Ian McKellen.
I know he'd be too old by now, though, right? But yeah, he was great as well. For the original X-Men, he was perfect with the white hair and everything, dude. Amazing. So, okay, so let's recap here. Scarlet Witch, one of the very first mutants ever. All right, this is going to expand to all the X-Men stuff, probably Wolverine, all that good stuff like that. Also, Magneto is her father. That's huge. Magneto is the biggest villain in the X-Men universe. That's massive. What else do we got going on here? Now, the thing that's going on with Scarlet Witch right now is she's going a little nuts, after the end of the Endgame. So she's created this little universe for herself. Now, in the comic books, Mephisto is at work here, and he's manipulating her to have these two kids. All right, with Vision. This is right out of the comic book. So, spoiler alert here, folks. I'll give you 2 seconds to maybe run away here. Because here's what we got, Mike. I don't know you want, but we got.
La, 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 la.
So in the comic books,
I can't hear you.
Mephisto creates an alternate universe kind of thing with the help of Wanda, because she's just losing her mind. She's very, very sad. Very sad. She helps, or the devil, Mephisto, helps Scarlet Witch have kids with vision. So the point of this, of course, was Mephisto wanted to take these kids and have them as his own and make them powerful and kind of trick her into the whole deal. So this could be what's going on here. We also have Catherine Hahn, I believe is her name. You'll see her in and out of the previous. She always has this same little amulet on. It's Agatha Harkness, and she's a witch. She's another witch, so you'll see her come in. Okay. Monica Rambeau from the Captain Marvel movie. The little girl there that was, her best friend, and then she had the little girl there. So she is going to be the next Captain Marvel, and she's in there, and she doesn't know why she's in there. So there's this universe that has been created, and it's going to open up. In the comic books also, she loses her mind, and you realize how powerful she is. There's one comic book where she gets so pissed off, dude. Never scorn a woman, right? And she just, the very end of it, it's just a close-up of her mouth, and she says, "No more mutants." And she wipes out all the mutants on Earth, except for maybe like 3 escape or something, just by her saying that. So we're going to get to see how actually powerful the Scarlet Witch is. She is massively powerful. She could stand toe to toe with Thor. And Iron Man. This is what I'm saying, right? She could cast a spell that could crush Tony's pelvis. You know what I mean? Like break his bones. Like she is so powerful. She just doesn't realize it yet. So what's going to happen if it goes with the comic book is she's going to get her mind effed with so badly and have these kids and have them taken from her that she's going to just lose it and become evil and maybe open up open up the multiverse, open up the Spider-Verse, right? Create mutants. So this is going to be, I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know, Scarlet Witch, what the heck? Dude, she's a character, man. You're about to see some layers. You're about to see some classic Marvel writing come to life. All right? Like, dude, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby. Pop culture and comic book geeks right now are high-fiving me and cheersing me because they are the team of our world. They are our gods. They are our comic book gods.
They are giving Disney, license to print.
Oh, and Mike, how funny is it too that I mentioned she was created in 1964.
Yeah.
And she it's not like Deadpool's one of the newer ones. He was in the 90s, early 90s.
Same with
right?
Ms. Marvel. When did Ms. Marvel
she would be 60s, early 70s maybe, because I guess it was Captain Marvel first in the 60s, and then she came along in it's either late 60s or early 70s, buddy.
Okay. Oh, I thought Miss Marvel was the newest of the characters.
Well,
which is
70s.
Okay, which is now one of the big sort of pushes I got from the investor that this is going to be a character for a new generation of Marvel fans.
Right.
But it's it's mind blowing how much content Disney is hoping to put out over the next couple of years.
Yeah.
And these little tastes, these little dribs and drabs. Mm-hmm. I'm even looking forward to the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Are you kidding me? Holy cow! The cartoon one, right? Or is it?
I believe is that the cartoon one that they're doing? I thought it was a live action.
Oh, I hope it is live action because I love that cast. That cast is fantastic.
Speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy, I know Dave Bautista gave an interview this week where he talked about the script for Guardians 3.
Nice.
And that it's changed because of the time and COVID. And how the Marvel production timeline has changed, that the script has changed, and some of the directions they were going to go may not be the same now because they've had to alter it. So there's a whole bunch of stuff in play. But yeah, when it comes to being excited about the content that they're going to be bringing out, Disney just hit the biggest of home runs across so many different genres.
I think they're doing what they planned. I mean, obviously, when the streaming service started, it was sort of.
I do, but I almost want to say that The Mandalorian was the happy accident.
Oh yeah,
that has turned into the cash cow.
Yeah.
if the Mandalorian doesn't do as well as it has, or didn't create as much buzz as it has, I don't think we would see as much of a push for these other Star Wars properties, maybe some of the Marvel stuff. Because if you think back, Obi-Wan was supposed to be done a while ago. There was supposed to be there was supposed to be a Boba Fett movie that was supposed to come out after the Solo movie, but since the Solo movie didn't do as well, it was scrapped. And I think,
that changed a few things, didn't it, Mike? The reception that the Han Solo movie got actually changed a few things. But it was funny because it came out after a major Star Wars movie that wasn't received that well either. So people were kind of, that's funny. Well, now if we look back, people are kind of poo-pooing it all after the one Star Wars movie and after Han Solo, and then the Mandalorian came out and was like, whoa, wait a minute. We have hope here again, right?
Yeah, we've still got it. Yet we've got Andor, which is one of the other Star Wars series that's coming out based on
from Rogue
Cassian
One.
Andor from Rogue One.
I'm looking forward. I rewatched Rogue One and Han Solo just over the week here, and I really enjoyed both of them. I really it was one of those things where you start watching
back and watch them again. It's there.
I did. Yeah, and it was really good. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
I will say though, if you can online, somebody's already done a deep fake where they've taken a couple of scenes from Solo and superimposed Harrison Ford's face.
Oh wow, that's hilarious.
On Aiden Eric, is that his last name? Aiden Eric.
I know who you're talking about.
He's also in the Huxley Brave New World show right now.
Right.
Anyway, they superimpose Harrison Ford's face, and it's freaky. And I'm thinking that would have been super cool had that.
They would have done that, yeah.
That so, but
so one other thing.
More segment.
We got Spider-Man, right? The Spider-Man news. But the big thing that I'm taking out of that is Daredevil. Charlie Cox is back as Daredevil. Now, for all you hardcore comic book fans, I have been, our producer's super excited about that. We love the Daredevil was Netflix series it was on.
It was Netflix. Yeah,
fantastic. So all you hardcore comic book fans out there are again cheersing me and high-fiving me. I know you are, my friends. I feel you. I feel the force flying through for Daredevil. And on that note, ding, 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 we have a hot comic book alert. It is. It is. Our last one was a Darth Vader one. This week we have Daredevil number 25. Okay, where is it? Right there. Yeah, he goes to jail. I don't want to. I'm not going to spoil this because this is still out there. Now, here's the thing about this comic book. This is already going on eBay. The lowest price I've seen is $50 with $5 shipping. So this comic is already going for $55. The reason for it is inside. I'm not going to spoil it. If you see this anywhere, my comic book fans, and you don't collect Daredevil, but you do collect comic books, grab this book. You will be happy you did. There's a new character
that's
introduced.
A trip tomorrow for me.
Well, that's a good one. If you can still get that Darth Vader one, get that. That one went immediately from 5 to 20, and I checked up on it, and the Darth Vader comic is still at 20. It hasn't rose any. But when one goes from, even the comic book store owners were both telling me, like, man, because I get my comics pulled aside for me in what they call a pull list, so I don't have to stress. Yeah, I got a list of them. Yeah, and anybody can do it, right? Anybody could do it, but so when I went in there, he's like, "Oh man, check!" But he always like it says, "You got this, and we got this one, and we got this one." And he shows me, and we talk about the covers and such. And then he pulls out the Daredevil, and he's like, "Do you know how many people wanted this, man? Like, people were coming in the store asking, for that book, and I held on to it for you." And that one, that's where eyes dies going, yes. That's why I come here, because that's the worst thing is to put it aside and have somebody, well, it was worth a lot of money, so I just took it or sold to somebody. It's like, I quit. I'm going to another store. But anyway, so Daredevil, that's the one you want to grab. If you see that one, that's our hot comic of the week, my friends.
Nice. Wrestling.
We're
wrestling.
going to move on. But before we go on, we got some housekeeping to do. Number one, everyone watching us on Twitch and YouTube and all those places, Facebook and all that stuff. Thanks. Please like and subscribe. We got to do all that stuff that the people tell us. That our producer sitting beside Chris right now is going to whoop our ass if we don't say this. So
she's shaking her fist at me.
To get our numbers up but we want to keep entertaining you here, and we want to get some more stuff on there. We got some merch. Miss Lonnie created a whole bunch of merch for us. Some Kids on the Escalator merch.
Show us off, man. Get excited about it as I do about this stuff. I know you
That's
are.
Right. It's gonna be wicked, and we got like coffee mugs, we got sweaters and all this shit. It's really cool. Go ahead and order one. I just ordered one, so we're ready to go.
Soon we'll have our own beer and our own coffee.
That's right. Number two, so yeah, there's all that. So make sure you get it out there. announcement that I didn't throw into the news of the week, but we had a very big week last week. We moved up 86 spots. Not that this matters too much outside of the fact that we did crack the top 30 for film and TV podcasts in this fine country of ours. So Chris has got the belt. There we go.
Lightweight champ.
Thanks to everybody for listening.
See, I can fit this around my waist. The other one I'm getting too fat for. It won't go around. That's how I can tell if I lost or gained any weight, is if I can wear these anymore.
Nice.
But yeah, we jumped, Brent? Huh?
Yeah, we jumped.
Huh?
We jumped, and I think that was and I think next week, hopefully, we'll before our big Christmas episode, we maybe crack the top 25. Let's see how we do. So, a couple of things. Thanks to Dean Blundell for hosting us again.
Oh, Dean, thanks, buddy.
On Twitter tonight, on the Twitter thingy with the thing, and all those things. So it is. We'll come back to that in a minute. It is time to go down. I don't know if we have a name for this segment, but we were thinking about calling it Pencil Neck Geek or something like that.
Ham and Eggers.
The Ham and Egger.
Ham and Eggers.
I love that. Is that Bobby Heenan?
That's Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Thought so. I got that one right on.
So yeah, we're gonna
love it.
We're gonna go there. Chris has got some wrestling questions for you, Mike.
I like asking Mike wrestling questions. One, because I like asking people questions. Two, because I like Mike's answers. This is all opinion stuff too. I'm not gonna get Mike to trash anybody yet.
I wouldn't trash
Just
anybody.
kidding. Yeah. Well, I bet I could find a question where you would. No, Abdullah the Butcher.
Guy knew how to bleed.
Yeah. I thought I'd get a little more out of you.
Abdullah the Butcher, I will say, I remember as a kid, there used to be wrestling out of Montreal that used to be on channel 57 or 79, which was City TV.
City TV.
I love City TV.
And I forget the name of
Everywhere.
Abdullah the Butcher used to be on there. Floyd Creechman, Eddie the Brain Creechman, Steve Strong, guys like that. Rick Martel was
when he
there
started
too.
out. I love it.
Bruiser Brody, I think. Came
Oh,
through that. Anyway,
Bruiser Brody. I
remember that was my first introduction to watching Abdullah the Butcher on TV. I'd had him in like a wrestling encyclopedia book, just pictures and with the fork and the scars, but that was my introduction to Abdullah.
All right.
The Butcher.
Okay, so I thought, because there's a lot of other stuff we could have
there is a lot
about
of
him,
stuff.
right? But anyway. All right, so let's show the ladies some love tonight, Mike.
Okay.
Hikaru Shida is like my favorite female wrestler, but I am so taken by Japanese samurais.
Okay.
I love her. I think she's great. I don't know if she's going to lose the championship here to Abaddon. Abaddon's looking like she's scaring the crap out of everybody. And the other thing I love about Hikaru is her facial expressions. I follow her on her social things, and she had this kitty for a while. She just says, and she'll try Reese's peanut butter cups for the first time ever and stuff like that. I just find her really cute. I like watching her.
This is Hikaru Shida, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just thinking Abaddon with.
No.
Are we still on Abdullah the Butcher?
Hikaru Shida. No, she's the women's champion of AEW, man. She's my favorite female wrestler. And I just everything about her though. I really enjoy. So, Mike, I want to know who is your favorite female wrestler today, and what female wrestler deserves a push, or if they did give it a push to, would hit. So you got a favorite female and one that needs a push.
See, that's not fair. My favorite, I've got a bunch of favorite
Okay, give me
females.
three then, buddy. Give me three.
Okay, Bailey, I think Bailey, I have a great deal of love and respect for because of what she did for my daughter about 2 years ago at a live show.
Suplexer?
Oh, no.
No, she gave her the old, the ringside hug.
Wow. That's awesome, man.
It was very cool. It was a very cool moment for me. I've had the chance to work with Bailey and sort of sit and chat with her. She's amazing. What she's done with her character, going from the lovable role model to girls to being this awesome heel during the whole COVID time, when Becky Lynch has gone off to become a mom. I think Bailey has probably been the best in the WWE over the last year and a half. Sasha Banks, fantastic as well too.
She's a Mandalorian now, I know, right? She's in my top three.
This is it's kind of sad to say, but this is probably the strongest roster of females across wrestling.
Yeah, buddy.
Been in so long.
Does WWE have a women's tag team championship?
Oh yeah, they do.
Okay, I wasn't sure because I know a lot of them don't. I know a lot of the
I think right now it's still
don't.
Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler.
Cool, that's good.
Are the champs, but so many fantastic female wrestlers. And it's cool to see because, I remember, go back 10, 15 years on the independents, there were a lot of really talented females, but just not getting the same kind of opportunities.
Yeah.
And now you've got AEW, Ring of Honor, Impact's got a great female division. The WWE's done a fantastic job. You talk about Hikaru Shida and how cute she is online. To me, Asuka and is heads above everybody else. She's someone who again, I don't want to say reinvented herself, but during the NXT days, she was dominating. She was, this big force that, unstoppable, retired left NXT, the women's champ. She has revitalized her career, but her comedy, like just being her.
Yeah.
And
I love it.
Her web shows, her YouTube show is funny. I could sit and watch her cook food.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's just, it's awesome. I don't understand half of it, but it's so cool. And she's also a very sweet, lovely person who, again, was very kind.
Some of them you just get taken by, right? And you get attached to them and you feel for them and you start to watch when they're innocent. It's nice to see the innocence of people, especially when they're beating the crap out of somebody. You know what I mean? And then But
I will say, who I think could use a push.
Yes.
Who I'd like to see get a push.
Yep.
Two people I would love to just see them get the ball and run with, because I think they've earned it and deserved it. Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan. If you get a chance on the WWE Network, watch Liv Morgan's Chronicle episode, or it's Chronicle or 24.
Okay.
It's a really cool sort of look into her Riot Squad days. Then when the big firings happened, Sarah Logan was let go. Ruby Riott was moved to the other show. It's actually really cool. I like Liv Morgan. I think she's got a great deal of upside from the talent side. I like Ruby Riott as well. Like, together, they should be the tag champs. AEW, Anna Jay, man, she is.
I really like Anna Jay. We follow
Dark
her on
Order,
Twitter.
Dark Horse. I see big things for her. I'd like to see her get the push.
Yeah.
But
How about Kylan King? She's huge.
Yeah, she
needs to be a villain though. Like, she comes out and then she smiles and it's like, oh, dude, no, she should be like a heel, I think, and she would be a lot better. But you've also got. I was going to say, you've also got, when you're talking NXT, like their women's division in NXT right now, Rhea Ripley, Tony Storm, Dakota Kai. I got to look a little more into that. Yeah.
You got it. Like that. They had the War Games pay-per-view a couple of weeks ago, and they did a War Games match, and it was crazy.
Nice.
Like, just
There's
amazing.
so much content. It's really tough. I mean, I can't consume it as much.
I haven't watched Raw in
weeks. I used to read about it.
So another question. Let me keep the questions flying. Where's Tessa Blanchard going to go?
Ooh, I'd say WWE. I don't know how much interest AEW has. I think she left a bit of a bad taste in promoters' mouths with how she left Impact.
Yep, definitely,
and all that stuff. Again,
because she left and she didn't promote the title.
The internet is the internet. You don't know. You don't know how much of it's true and much of it isn't. Her dad's at AEW, so that's got to hold some sort of play. But it would be kind of neat to see her in the WWE. Charlotte Flair is coming back. Maybe we
do a female Four Horsemen, huh? How cool would that be?
I think we just leave the Four Horsemen away.
Well, have they done that a lot?
Well, there was the new Four Horsewomen, which was Becky
Lynch, see, I wasn't even aware of that. Oh, man, okay.
Charlotte. So, but that was never officially done. It was kind of like understood. So, anyway.
Oh, man, that's too bad.
I know, crazy wrestling nerdsome stuff.
That's all right. I've just gotten away from the mainstream wrestling so much. Like, I've been watching so much of the luchador wrestling and the Japanese wrestling, man. I'm just because it's all really new to me. So one more wrestling question, buddy.
Okay. Yeah.
If you had to go to a desert island and you only had one episode of Dark Side of the Ring, my friend, which one would it be?
Oh, episode of Dark Side of the Ring?
Which one? You can only keep one episode in your library, buddy.
I thought they did a bang up job on the Chris Benoit.
Oh, wasn't that good?
That and the Owen Hart were two of the goods. But then again, that series was so great.
Dude, I like the Gino Hernandez one.
Yeah, I was going to say Gino
I
Hernandez was
really
good.
like the
Even
Gino
Jimmy,
Hernandez
even
one.
the Jimmy Snuka one was,
Oh.
was pretty interesting too. I'm looking forward to season 3. I'm curious to see
it's on
what
the
they
way,
do.
isn't it? Isn't it on the way?
Yep. They've got some. They've
Any
got some
stories
episodes.
confirmed?
Yeah, I don't know how many they've got confirmed. I think I mentioned they were going to look into the Jake the Snake's family,
The dad is Snake.
Grizzly Adams. They're going to look at. I think they're going to look at some AWA stuff as well too. But
Okay.
yeah, it's that's a great little.
So
series
you would take
to watch.
the Chris Benoit episode.
I'd take the Chris Benoit because I think that
Cool.
was the one that really made people kind of look at this series and go ooh, and go back and rewatch season 1 and so anyway.
Okay, those are my wrestling questions, Mike. Thanks, buddy.
That's it.
I always like hearing you. Always like hearing your opinion.
I don't
on
get to
wrestling
talk
stuff.
a whole lot about wrestling because
We're gonna do a card break. We're gonna do a card break soon. I did a little Instagram live last week with a comedian down in
Yeah,
New
you had
Orleans.
mentioned that, right? Yeah.
And we had a little bit of fun where he was breaking all these old 80s classic wrestling cards. So he would, they're still in the package. So we open them and it's like, oh, there's Big John Studd, and there's a Big Boss Man, and being able to tell a little bit of a story because it's a little bit more.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've got stories to tell about that time.
I'm blown away though at how hockey cards and cards of any kind,
episode,
Pokemon are making a comeback now. Like, what's up with that?
The guys on this network, the PP1 guys that run the Canucks podcast, are big on the card break thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's massive. Chris, what do you got there, buddy?
What do you got for
Oh, that's good. I thought you raised your hand. Anyway,
I was just pointing some cards behind. I got some Batman cards I just got with some comic books.
I think a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
We just covered a whole
I think
bunch
we're
of
good. We're like 5 minutes away from our 90-minute segment. Are we actually going to end on time today?
Well, we might get there. I think. Yeah, we're gonna get
because
pretty close to
we're
it.
5 minutes away, right?
Yeah. Well,
I'm waiting for Brent's favorite time of the week with me at the end of the episode.
Where he gets Darth Vader to choke you.
No, we didn't get Darth Vader today.
No.
This is what the Mike tales of where we can find Mike.
Oh,
It's like, where's Mike this week?
There's nowhere.
But every single week I discover you on something new, and it's very exciting for me now. I'm kind of going like, wait a minute.
Somebody pointed out they saw a Chex commercial with me, so I'm like,
Nice.
yes, I did Chex. I'm excited. This is crazy, weird inside, but I did a whole bunch of holiday because now that the Christmas rush is coming to an end, we're already looking at Boxing Day and stuff. So my good buddies at Leon's, this was
Can you send me some of those deals? I gotta do some preliminary stuff.
Hey, shouts to Louis Leon. He's my guy. He's also a huge wrestling nerd too. So
nice.
Now listen, Mike, I got a challenge for you this week. Next week is our final episode of the year, and then we're gonna take a little break.
Yep.
It also coincides with the last Mandalorian.
Okay.
So we'll wrap that up. But we are going to cover off our favorite Christmas movies.
Ooh.
And I'm going to take a little approach. I'm going to take a little challenge here from another podcast I listen to, which is called Smartless. I'm sorry, Jason Bateman and the fellas. I am going to steal just a little bit of an idea here.
Okay.
I am challenging Mike to find a guest to weigh in next week on the top 3 Christmas movies. They're not going to be on for 2 hours. You're going to be like, this is my guest. They're going to come in. They're going to say their top 3 Christmas movies, and they're going to leave. And that's going to be, we're going to hit it. I'm
Is it
challenging
Santa?
everyone on here.
Because I know him.
Does it have to be live? Can I get it pre-recorded?
It's going to be live. It makes for whatever, but we're going to do it. I've got my feelers out on a couple of different things. I will tell you that I have, just to throw it out there, that I'm going after Daniel Stern.
Wow.
So we're gonna try.
We're
gonna try for Daniel Stern.
Wow.
Yeah, we're trying for Daniel Stern. Okay, we're trying for.
I'm gonna try for Santa.
That's right. But anyways, I'm gonna kind of go through the Rolodex, and we're gonna have a little spin around the thing here, and everyone's gonna bring a guest in to weigh in on the favorite Christmas movie, so we can wrap up this year.
I'm stoked for that. That'll be great.
On a high note. So there's
Speaking
a
of
challenge
presents
for you, Mike.
That's a huge challenge.
Mike,
I don't know famous people.
Doesn't have to be famous.
Dress your kid up in an elf and bring him in. We'll be good.
Okay.
Just interesting. They
Mike,
don't need to be
do
famous.
you remember this game?
Oh my gosh, Wildfire Pinball?
You do remember it? Yeah. Look at it's still in the box.
I am so okay.
Still in the box, dude.
We have to explore toys.
Well, we're gonna have a new segment called "It Came from the Basement." Dude, look at that, man.
Oh my God, is it the 8-9-year-old me is super jealous right now because I wanted. All I got was the cheesy little Casio flip up. It looked like a DS pinball game. That's the one I wanted.
There's so many toys to open, and that's coming up too. That's coming up too.
I was hoping you'd recognize that, dude. Yeah, I got that for as a gift.
Damn.
Speaking of gifts, my wife gets me such amazing toys, right? Like, yeah, so I was glad you liked. It's still in the box too, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's now I'm so jealous.
So we got a big Christmas episode next week. We're going to break down our top Christmas movies. We're going to try to bring some guests in, all the usual trivia stuff, all the regular things. Michael, thank you again, sir.
Thanks, boys.
Good to see you,
Pleasure
buddy.
as always. Indeed.
Thanks, buddy.
Indeed. May the force be with you all.
Yes.
Wait, I gotta do it. I do it. And force disappear.
Nice.
Fun stuff. Always good to have Michael on.
Yeah.
Hey, it's trucking along. So it's been a
We
busy
did it.
episode, but a busy episode, man.
Yeah. So again, I think we should thank Todd Dank Ferret Kearns again and Mr. Brent Fitz for being on last week. That was a really good episode. We did really well, as we mentioned earlier. We've actually cracked the charts pretty high in the top 30. If you do have one of those Google things or whatever, just say, "Hey Google, play Kids on the Escalator," and they will play us. That's how easy it is to hear us. If you want to see us,
or you're going to play something from Mallrats, and either way, it's a win for you.
Yeah, I've done it occasionally when I'm doing my rounds. But so that's one way to listen to us and hear us. We do have a YouTube channel. It's just Kids on the Escalator. You can find us on YouTube. Twitter. What are we on Twitter, Brent?
Kids on the Escal1, but just type Kids on the Escalator Twitter, and it brings it up.
And you'll find us. Yeah, and yeah, we have also the Instagram site. We don't do too much on there, but we got
Instagram's
that as well.
building. Yeah, we're building the Insta. It's
Kids on the Escalator there as well. Facebook. If you're an old folk and you like to go on Facebook and stuff and look at pictures of your friends like Brent and I do, we've got a Kids on the Escalator Facebook page. Now, and we have what are you saying, producer? Twitch. Our producer says we are also on Twitch.
Now, to coincide with the merch announcement and some of the things we were talking about, a couple of things that you listening at home or watching might not realize is that Chris does. You can actually get Chris to draw you something. So it is still within, I don't know what your cutoff time is, but Chris draws things for people. And they call him and they go, "Hey, can you draw Batman, suplexing the Macho Man or something?"
Yeah, I do commissions and stuff like that.
And he'll commission it and he'll get it done for you. So that's, I think, a pretty rad little gift. I'm just going to tell you.
Well, if you wanted something for Christmas, my friends out there, that is fantastic. But get at me. Get at me.
You got to get it in fast.
Fast.
But
But if you want something for after Christmas, I've done lots of pictures where I actually take the person, like a person in your family or yourself, and I put you in a comic, like you're the Jedi, or you're the superhero. I can do fun things like that. But yeah, thanks for but the bigger thing, and I appreciate that, but my comic book company is launching on January 1st.
That's right.
Digital download of our first comic book called Skeletron, which I pitched to Todd Kearns, and he supports it 100%. I got to get a quote from him on it, but he was all over it. He loved it. We were talking about it before. So again, such great guys on the show last week. It's great when you can have people on the show that you really relate to, and you can see them smiling, enjoying what we're talking about, which is great. So, so my comic book is going to be. I did that myself. My comic book is going to be out on January 1st. Yeah. Digital download, $5. Okay, and you can have the digital download of Skeletron #1.
Which get it. Support local. Support everything. You guys
support me, my friends.
Everyone's doing everything digital, anyways. So, man, so much going on. Just overall, just moving up the charts, which is a lot of fun, but just means people are listening, which keeps us active and doing things like that. I got to thank my friends at Blue Microphones. These guys right here. These guys sent me a Blue Yeti X. So I'm, we're finally, hopefully, getting the audio right on my end. I've had a rough couple of audio weeks, but here we are.
I have I don't have one of those. I have an audio. No, I have an Apex 540.
There you go. You see.
But if they sent me one of their mics, I would use one of theirs.
Yes, I think we'll lean on them.
I could use this for something else, so they could send it.
Yeah, there's so many things. So just a lot of people think Mike again, as always, for appearing.
Mike's awesome, huh? I love asking Mike wrestling questions. Nobody knows he grew up with Adam. I can't remember, but his Edge.
Adam Copeland.
Adam Copeland, the wrestler Edge. He grew up with him, and he's been on a lot of major wrestling event TV shows and stuff, and he's very knowledgeable.
Great guy, and always awesome to have here. So everybody, thank you so much for tuning in again on Monday Night Live.
We kept it under control tonight. We kept it to our time.
That's right. We're trying to keep this thing to about 90 minutes for you guys.
Come see us next week, though, because it's our last episode for 2 weeks. and we're going to do a big bash end-off thing there. I'm going to get some champagne going on my end. I got Spidey over here. We're going to get him all hopped up on Benny's. It's going to be great.
Our Christmas extravaganza.
It's going to be a Christmas
Surprises,
miracle.
Guests. We're talking Christmas movies. We're talking the end of The Mandalorian.
Check this out, Brent. I have never had anybody come in on my stream chat here. Here's what I'm telling you. First person to come in on the stream chat tomorrow, on my stream chat here, I can give you more information. You can win a free digital download of my comic book.
There it is. You see?
And I'll probably throw in something else because I'm a pretty generous person. If you've ever had a beer with me, I'm a nice guy. I'll probably buy the next round.
Not only that, but you also gave them an amazing comic book little tidbit of information.
Oh, about the Daredevil comic?
Scavenger hunt on the Daredevil.
Oh,
so
dude, man,
there's some more things for you guys to get.
Yeah.
So anyways, lots of fun this week. Tons coming up next week. That is it for us.
Thanks
you,
for
my
tuning
friends.
in, everyone.
This has been the Kids on the Escalator podcast.
Good times.
On all platforms. Rad dudes.
You got it.
Yeah.